Okay, today we are playing a game on Route 66. We are in the Silver SR range, and we'll be playing about half the game as Reinhardt and about half the game as Orisa. There's a little bit of toes in there, but we aren't playing that much of toes, given that we're playing a character that's got 4 legs, really, so, you know, whatever, let's start the game. So we're attacking first, as soon as YouTube feels so inclined as to actually start the video. There we go. We're attacking first, playing Reinhardt. Their Zarya is massively out of position. There is a Widowmaker on the enemy team. That's a little scary. We should be trying a lot harder to kill this Zarya. We're going up to try and kill her now. So we got there in the end. She was out of position, like, really fucking badly. And she's no doubt right now yelling at her teammates, "Where are you, team?" But she was out of position. We should have been trying to kill her, like, immediately, basically. So, we have to be careful about taking our shield down when there's a Widow on the enemy team, because our teammates can suddenly get one shot when we're doing that. We did not countercharge the Reinhardt, and now we are rewarded with going off the cliff. Gotta be ready to countercharge the enemy Reinhardt, because, I mean, stuff like this doesn't happen. And even if you can get out of the way, you usually want to still countercharge the guy, because you don't know who's standing behind you. And you might get out of the way, and then Mercy gets pinned behind you instead. Shit, that didn't go any better for us. So we're back now. Their Reinhardt is going to take longer to get back than us, because we have the spawn advantage right now. That's about it. So I don't like when Reinhardt players do this. Come on, YouTube. I don't like when Reinhardt players do this, where they're just, like, swinging at things that they're not... There's, like, nothing to hit. Because all that's doing is, like, letting us take damage. Like, I'd rather hold the shield up, as long as there's something to actually be blocking and or blocking for. Just, like, swinging away at nothing, I'm always just like, man, like, why, you know? That's just me, though. I don't really see many people complain about that. I'm just always like, if you're not gonna hit anybody, why are you swinging? But that's me. So, Widowmaker just used her ultimate. So we gotta be real careful about getting, like, killed as soon as she comes around the corner. But she's dead now, so we actually don't have to worry about it anymore. Managed to beat Zarya to death. Somebody's contesting the payload. Mercy's rezzing Zarya again. Now we get to kill Zarya again, hopefully. We've got Earth Shatter built up, but, I'll be upset if we have to use it, which is looking more and more like we're going to have to, just because the fight was going so well, but the enemy team at this point is starting to regroup. Nope, we got the checkpoint regardless, because they're hanging out over there instead. Thank goodness. Ryan's used his Earth Shatter. I don't care that he's done this to us. So, I was gonna say, I don't care that he did that, because we've already captured this checkpoint. So, like, he can use his ultimate on this checkpoint if he wants. We've already won, as far as I'm concerned. And I was gonna say that this fuck-up right here, on the game's end, saved us from wasting our ultimate. But then we did this, and all we got was Zarya with it, and that's not very exciting. Just in general, like, we were never really going to get a great Earth Shatter out of that position, like, multiple people, and unless, like, we got kind of lucky out of it. And we already captured this checkpoint, so I don't want to have to use ultimates right now, because we can just, like, respawn, come out, and start fighting them again, and then save our ultimate instead, because, like, you know, we're pushing up right now, we're not using any ultimates to do this, right? Now Zarya's used her ultimate on us, and not a whole lot happened. Their Widow's dead again, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Doomfist's over there playing Doomfist. Mercy just, like, swung around to the left of us right there. And we could have gone for her, because she's on fire, so she's not having a great time right now. And she's pretty close to us. We could swing left and, like, maybe get a swing in on her. Our Fire Strike was about to come up. Could have at least probably hit her with that, if nothing else. Didn't countercharge Reinhardt again, but nothing bad came of it this time, so it doesn't matter. Arguably, the first pin, like, us getting taken off the edge was arguably good for us, because we had the spawn advantage on the other Reinhardt anyway, so arguably that one didn't go that badly, all things considered. But not dying is generally preferable. So we should be holding our shield up right now, because we can do nothing else to contribute to killing Widowmaker. We've already used Fire Strike, and that's our entire contribution to this situation. Widowmaker is still potentially going to shoot our teammates, though. And just in general, you see Widowmaker looking down her sights in your vague direction and you're playing Reinhardt, maybe put the shield up, it's just protect yourself if nothing else, but like, there's probably someone stood behind you and you don't want them getting shot either. Widow's dead again now, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. So their Reinhardt by this point, he's dead now, so we don't have to worry about it. I was going to say their Reinhardt's going to be getting close to having his ultimate again. Now he's alive again. We have to resume worrying about it. But Bob's here right now. Daddy will solve the problem for us. He did, in fact, have his ultimate. So playing Reinhardt, if there's a Reinhardt on the enemy team, which right now, not necessarily guaranteed, but in the near future, we're probably going to see a lot more Rein Zarya. A massive part of playing Reinhardt versus the other Reinhardt is blocking his Earth Shatter and getting his Earth Shatter past you. So you have to kind of keep track of the enemy Reinhardt and how much, and his charge. You can usually, like, for the first one at least, you can usually use your own ult as an indication, because if you're close to having your ultimate, he's going to be close to having his ultimate in all likelihood. Because most of Reinhardt, you usually just like trading fire strikes back and forth with each other. If he pins somebody, he just got like a big boost over you, and vice versa for you. But that's like an easy way for the first one at least. And after that, like, you can round it fairly broadly, where like, if a team fight has happened and he didn't use his ultimate during that team fight, probably got his ultimate, unless he died like instantaneously when the team fight happened. If a team fight happened, he'll have it now, or he'll be really close to having it. Because blocking Earth Shatter is, like, very important playing Reinhardt versus Reinhardt. And then, like, fucking YouTube. And then getting your Earth Shatter past him. Easy way to do that, well, one of the easier ways until Reinhardt players start getting better, in Silver right now, it'll work, is you wait, and you watch him use Fire Strike, and then in your head you go, alright, in 6 seconds, his Fire Strike's gonna be off cooldown again. He is probably going to Fire Strike again pretty soon after it comes off cooldown, regardless of if he has his ult or not. So you can watch him use his Fire Strike and go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he's going to use his Earth Shatter, or his Fire Strike really soon. And then as soon as you see him use his Fire Strike, just ult immediately. Now you have to believe in yourself. You have to have 100% faith. You can't like wait for him to get like halfway through the Fire Strike animation to be like, is he doing it? He's gonna block it if you wait that long. You've got to believe like he is gonna Fire Strike in a few seconds, and I am ready for it. And then you Earth Shatter him and hopefully his team because they were stood behind him, and you win the team fight off of that alone. And that's why Reinhardt's really easy. Also, if Reinhardt players are, like, bad, which, again, in Silver, it'll happen, they'll run into you and just start swinging, and that's when you Earth Shatter the bad men. We Earth Shatter the bad men right here real good. And it felt real good, but I'm still going to nitpick the fact that we jumped when we used Earth Shatter. Because this is just giving the enemy team more time to react. You don't want to jump and then use Earth Shatter. There are some situations where you are jumping around a corner and Earth Shattering so that you can get them, like, as soon as you come around the corner. But this is a fairly fringe case scenario. Basically, you never want to jump and use Earth Shatter because you're just giving the enemy team more time to react. This is bad if there's a Reinhardt there because it gives him more time to react and put his shield up, but lots of people have ways to dodge Earth Shatter themselves. If there's a Moira, she can dodge it easily. You give like Zen more time to react and like Transcendence, stuff like this. Don't want to jump and use Fire Strike. So, in general, we seem like pretty afraid to like go up and start like swinging into people. We seem to play fairly passively overall. Spend a lot of time like hugging the backside of the payload. We can go up and swing at people, it's not so bad. Like, Reinhardt players, I find, usually either swing way too hard on being swing, hammer, they always either swing way too hard on being offensive or defensive. Like, you gotta play defensive up until the point where you can, like, go in. And usually you can, like, move up and start, like, trading swings back and forth with the other Reinhardt fairly easily and safely. So you don't have to just, like, hug the backside of the payload constantly. You can walk up and, like, start swinging at people. It is good to use the payload as cover. Reinhardt players in general undervalue the benefit of having cover. But, you know, we don't have to be, like, super afraid either. We can go up and smash some bad men. So now we've entered the Orisa segment of the game, or the first Orisa segment, because I think we play Orisa, go Reinhardt, Orisa again, Toes, Orisa Rein, I think, something like that. I watched it through once, but I have a terrible memory. I've already forgotten, like, basically everything that I saw, because I'm not a very professional man. So we're playing Orisa right now, and boy howdy, are we playing Orisa. It's not worth complaining. I was going to complain a little bit about the reload, but it's like not the end of the world. Reload timing on Orisa, fairly important. So like right here, this one I'm going to complain about. Because right now, a fight is still fairly actively happening, and we're reloading right now. We've still got 89 bullets in our clip, which is over half still. And Orisa's reload takes like 2 full seconds to complete. So you really don't want to reload, like, unless you have to, or you've got, like, a lot of free time. That fight was still fairly actively happening, and we started reloading. Same deal now, we still had 2/3 of our ammo right there, and we started reloading while the fight was still happening. We were running away. So, you know, there's that, but, didn't need to reload then either. So we decided to change to Reinhardt right now. I think this is overall the correct decision because they're kind of like muscling in on us, and I don't like playing Orisa. Oh god, excuse me, Orisa when they're muscling in on me. I like to know that I can smash them with my fucking hammer if they start trying to press into me. So, Widow's up there. Given the path we took, we could go up top right now, just in case, you know. And bare minimum, I turn around this corner, I see Widow's like up there. I'll go around the backside. I'm not really going very out of my way to go up there and try and clock Widow in the back of the head. Otherwise, she's just sitting up there kind of uncontested right now. And I don't want her to do that. I want her to at least be thinking about shit. We should not go up and touch the payload right now, by the way. This is like going up to touch the payload for the sake of touching it, because our team is in no position to do anything. We die, and we see, oh yeah, there's actually, like, no one around us. There's Widow behind us, and she has ult. Okay. Good, you know, yeah, guess good to communicate. Yeah, we know to group up. This is good. Yeah, don't go out there and start fighting the bad men. We did go up and touch the payload while our teammates were not there, though, and this did result in us dying. And we could have tried to get the Widow. Going back to Orisa now, not very confident on our picks. So try not to do that, where you like switch back and forth between heroes constantly, because that just means it's taking us way longer to build up our ultimate, which is not good. Like switching constantly, you just end up dropping your ult over and over and over again. We don't want to do that. Ultimates are really important for Overwatch, so we don't want to do that. You know, just try and commit. Sometimes you figure out, like, yeah, this is just, like, the wrong hero, and you, like, drop half your ult charge or whatever. Fair enough, as long as the pick was worth it. You know, the change was worth it. Don't, like, be like, that didn't feel good. Alright, died, go to Reinhardt. Oh, that didn't feel good. Die, go back to Orisa. Just because you died doesn't mean it was the wrong choice. You know, try and, like, stick him out and, like, build up an ult. If you get, like, halfway towards your ultimate, usually it ends up being better to, like, stick it out and, like, find a way to use your ultimate at least, rather than drop the charge completely. Just because, like, there's usually probably something you can do better with it. There's usually something you can do with it that's better than just dropping it. If you're, like, 70% of the way, like, dude, yeah, save that ult. Anyway, so we died again. We went out to, like, touch the payload in the last few seconds, and it didn't work, you know. It rarely does, but, you know, sometimes it does, and that feels good. So Bob's out there fighting all by his lonesome. You know, Daddy's very strong, but tragically Daddy is not strong enough to beat 6 men by himself, so he's dead now. Tracer's fucking with us. We cannot ignore Tracer. We cannot just ignore her. We are not playing the ideal person to fight Tracer, but we can't just, like, ignore her either. I'm trying to go backwards right now, because I was looking... Yeah, we had Fortify as well. We probably died regardless from the stick at that point, but we had it, you know. We can't just ignore Tracer. We do have to try and contest the Tracer at least. Even if we're not the ideal person, you know. We've got to at least try. We can't just, like, let her sit back there shooting away at us. So we're taking a longer way to get back right now. You know, was a slightly more, just like took an extra couple seconds to get back. Not great, you know, we want to get back as fast as we can. So Tracer's still here, she's up to no good. Seemed a little flummoxed about it, couldn't really figure out where she was. I can't make space when I have a Tracer on my butt all game. We can be trying harder to deal with the Tracer situation ourselves. We're kind of like letting her push us around right now. We at least try, you know, we can like halt her into the ground, shoot away at her, we can put the shield down closer to us so we can actually use it to shield dance on the Tracer. Like, put the shield down right now, right at our feet. We can shield dance with this Tracer and just like move back and forth across it to make it harder for us to shoot us. Instead, we just like, oh god, Tracer, Tracer, Tracer. You know, she's on us, put shield down. Alright, gonna have to fight Tracer. Put shield down, start dancing back and forth through it, trying to fight the Tracer. You can halt her down, that's gonna like slow her down at least. She can blink, but you make her blink. You get the opportunity to do damage, you know, you get a blink out of her, it's like took some of her resources away. It's better than just like letting her walk on us. Right now we want to try and use this amplification matrix as much as we can. So Tracer's behind us, but we're trying to use the matrix, that's understandable. We've almost got the bongo built up. Tragically, the bongo is not an incredibly amazing ultimate by itself. So, usually not the fight winner, but, you know, it's cool. You know, it's nice to have. This all turned into a mess real fast. Zarya threw the black hole in, but they couldn't do anything because D.Va was using self-destruct at the same time. So we could have put the bongo down at this point because... Go back, come on, YouTube. So, obviously we don't want to do it while, like, the black hole is happening, because that's pretty bad. But, black hole's gone, alright, gone now. Everybody's in, like, still a pretty good condition. We've got lots of men still alive. We just, like, back up a little bit, put the bongo, like, slightly behind, like, slightly to the left behind us, so it's got, like, a little bit of more cover than just, like, putting it in the middle of the street. And then, behind the shield, and our team can come up here and use it to start fighting the bad men. We're all pretty long-range people, so, like, we can use it around this corner without having to dive on the bad men. Moira was even using Coalescence right there. We got an Ashe, so, like, those two people right then, Ashe just in general, and Moira using Coalescence will benefit a lot from having the extra damage from the bongo. Instead, we saved it, and, like, the bongo's not an incredible ultimate. You don't usually have to worry too much about how you use it, because it's not like Earth Shatter or Graviton or anything. You don't have to sweat about it too much. General rule of thumb with the bongo is it's a support ultimate, right? Like, it doesn't do anything by itself. It needs teammates to be alive to do stuff with. It's not a very good combo ultimate, really. You want to put it down just as soon as you can during the team fight, so as many people can benefit from it as possible. Because ideally, you've got 6 teammates all using it to fight the bad man. And it'll help, if they haven't got their ultimate, you put it down at the beginning of the team fight, it'll help them build their ultimate up faster. It might be the difference between them building their ultimate up during that team fight and not. And your team is just more likely to benefit from it over the whole time. Like, right as the fight starts, you use it. People have still got all their abilities, hopefully. They've still got their ultimates. They can use all of these things with the damage boost, and hopefully it ends up getting more value. You just want to put it down as soon in the fight as you can as possible. This is true of all support ultimates, except Transcendence and Sound Barrier, because they're defensive ultimates. You're using them to counter enemy team actions. But all other support ultimates, you want to use them as early in the team fight as you possibly can. So, Bob's here with us right now, and boy, isn't that scary. You're trying to walk into Bob behind Orisa's shield while he's got the bongo next to him as well. They ain't coming in here anytime soon. Tragically, they had a lot of cover to use, so, like, not many of them really died from it, but it was very scary. It bought us time, if nothing else. And sometimes that's all that matters. So we are slowly starting to push them back a little bit. Zarya's coming in. We just gave Zarya a lot of charge right there. Don't shoot into the Zarya if you can avoid it. Part of it is Zarya timing her bubble well to get charge, but, you know, we gave her a hand right there. So, fucking Immortality Field was down. Covered the fact that we didn't have a shield down right there. Now we're in this. Oh god, here it all comes. It feels very bad. What a mess. And we just sort of started losing ground pretty fast. There wasn't really overly much we could have done about that one as Orisa. I don't like playing Orisa for this reason. You know, Orisa has less like, Orisa is someone that contributes a lot of value overall to the team, but she doesn't have a lot of ways to, like, really swing a team fight around in her team's favor, especially if it starts going downhill. Orisa can't do a whole lot to, like, turn it back around again. Whereas, like, Reinhardt, my favorite tank, things start going badly, I crack 4 people with Earth Shatter, we're not losing the team fight anymore. So, we've got the bongo built up again. We just put it down immediately. We put it behind a fresh shield as well, which is a good habit to have. You know, put the shield down, then put the bongo down right afterwards. Tracer pulse bombed it, which, I mean, you fucking got me, I guess. You know, life is hard like that sometimes. And things could be going better, but they also could be going worse, all things considered. Again, you know, more or less just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Is this, like, going on, like, faster speed? Did I push, like, something that's making this go at, like, 1.5? No, that's normal play speed. That's probably because we were switching around a lot. That just felt, like, really, like, 1.5 speed. Anyway, whatever. So, fight not going well still. We come out to touch payload. We have to come out and touch payload. It's usually not, like, great value to use Fortify while you're behind your shield, but the enemy team are, like, sort of trying to push past the shield at the same time, so, you know, we'll forgive it. This is a good time to just change to Hammond, just because Hammond's a better stalling hero. He'll get back out there faster, and we can start, like, spinning around the payload being annoying. Reinhardt's gonna get out very slow, is the main thing right here. D.Va would be a good one, but we already had someone playing D.Va. It's just a matter of getting out here as fast as you can. Ryan's quite slow. Hammond's very fast. And Ryan, once he gets there, like, can't do a whole lot to stall it out. Hammond is very annoying to kill, especially if you don't have hard crowd control. So, he would have been a better swap to go there right at the end, but by that point, we're just kind of, like, hoping it works kind of situation, you know? So, we won't sweat about it too much. So, they got it there in overtime. We had a lot of time to spare. This would have mattered if we were on a hybrid or 2CP map. They wouldn't have gotten an extension. But we're on a pure payload map, so they get their mid extension regardless, as long as they get it to the end. Moira is standing in a very bad spot. She's doing what Zarya did on the enemy team earlier, but it's worse to do as Moira, because now she's fucking dead, and there goes our main healer. Tracer killed herself. That's sick. But we just lost our main healer for that, so great. Awesome job, Moira. Very smart. And she's meant to be a fucking scientist, I swear. Anyway, we're playing Orisa right now, you know, broadly speaking. Something I will complain a little bit about, even though it's fairly minor overall, is I would rather if our shield was positioned ever so slightly differently, and you're gonna be like, what a silly thing to nitpick over, but let me explain. So, rather than being over here, I'd like to be more over here. And, yeah, you know, that versus that, what a massive difference you're telling me here. The thing is just that if we're standing with the shield like here, and you can apply this mentality to Reinhardt and Toes as well, if we're standing here, we have to stand really close to them to get line of sight on them, and they can be shooting our shield from somewhere that we can't contest them. Because if they stand, like, back here, you know, they can see the shield and be shooting it, and we can't see them. We have to come, like, pretty far up to see them. We have to be, like, pressed right into them. And you don't want your shield to be in a position where the enemy team can shoot at it just for free, if they wanted to. You know, we want them to have to expose themselves to us to shoot our barrier. And if we're stood over here, they have to actually come round the corner to contest the shield suddenly, right? And we still get the benefit of standing behind the shield. It's all still good. You know, we're still contesting the payload, whatever. But they have to come really close to us to actually shoot the shield, which is nice for us. They have to expose themselves more, right? And then the other thing is, if we're stood over here, we're kind of in the open. The only thing we can use for cover if our shield breaks right now is the billboard behind us. And the billboard, like, is not exactly great cover, because they can just suddenly start, like, squashing in on us, right? But if we're more over here, we can use the corner for cover as well, because, you know, we can come and, like, stand over here a little bit, even if the shield is, like, so. We can come stand over here, and then just, like, duck over if we have to. We can use the wall as cover. Ideally, on Route 66, we don't actually stand on the low ground if we don't have to. Ideally, we can stand on the gas station the entire time, because you can contest the payload from on top of the gas station. And ideally, you do that, because then you don't have to stand on the low ground with the common folk, disgusting, dirty peasants that they are. But if you have to, you know, even if you're playing a tank, you want to try and, like, use cover as much as you possibly can. Back up a little bit, put the shield down, use the bongo, hooray. You also usually don't get to use the gas station very much when you're in, like, lower SRs, just because our teammates are, like, we saw what Moira was doing, right? You know, if your teammates are doing stupid shit, you have to come and do stupid shit with them, unfortunately. But ideally, on Route 66, we stay on the gas station. Sooner or later, you usually end up having to jump down, but, you know, we don't want to if we can avoid it. Oh god, please stop switching so much. Oh my god. So, fight happening still in our absence. Could be going better, could be going worse, it looks like. They've killed Bastion, that's like 80% of the work versus a Bastion team, you know? Interestingly, their Mercy decided to res Soldier over Bastion, which is, you know, sort of the reason to pick Mercy with Bastion, really. We should not be going up right now. Half our team's dead, and Zarya can just walk up and start doing this to us. And there's not a lot that we get to say in regards to the matter. We could have used Fortify during that, or she got to do, like, a lot of damage to us. But we just shouldn't have gone up to begin with. We saw most of our team died in the previous team fight. We had to wait for them to get back. Because now, like, we just have to walk back again, right? Here comes Toes. Hey, we're playing Toes. I don't like this Toes skin. I don't really think of Toes as being this mystical shaman-y type, which is what I think of this skin as, you know? So this time we decided to wait because our teammates are all dead. This is good. We should have done that previously. Then they could have had that team fight with us out there, but whatever. You know, water under the bridge. There's no water or bridges out here, but well, there was a bridge, but it's fucking been destroyed now. So here comes Zarya. We are pretty far up right now. But they're still coming through the gate. Now, this is where it gets scary, because there's a Bastion coming into us right now. So, playing Toes, we shouldn't have put the shield up right there. That one didn't accomplish anything. We're playing a very delicate game right now. We're playing Toes against Bastion. So, us doing this is not really anything productive, right? Because we've got to wait till we can get to the Bastion, right? Like, we've either got to get to the Bastion, or we've got to do enough damage that we're going to break the barriers, and we're going to kill the Bastion. Either way, we don't want to just, like, have our shield up like this, right? We want to put it up when our team can actually, like, if we're going to go for breaking the barrier, we want to wait until our teammates are all kind of, like, consolidated, and we've got a clear line of sight to the Bastion. Then we put the shield up, it's fresh, completely fresh shield, put it up, we move out, we start, like, just drilling into the Bastion as much as we can. We're playing Toes, so we can even stand in front of the barrier and use Kinetic Grasp to eat a bunch of Bastion shots, then move back behind the barrier as the Kinetic Grasp's running out, get a little bit more longevity on the shield. And then, hopefully, our teammates are able to take advantage of this time to break the barrier and kill the Bastion. That's the idea there. If we're waiting to get to the Bastion, we basically want to stay out of line of sight as long as we possibly can. Where this doorway over here would basically be the best option we get, where we just, like, sit here, and we wait, and then when the payload gets, like, here, we move out, and we just, like, crowd on Bastion as much as we possibly can. Playing Toes, we got Kinetic Grasp, so we can just come around the corner using Kinetic Grasp, basically, or, like, come around the corner, wait for Bastion to look at us, use Kinetic Grasp, and then, like, get right up on his face, and try to throw the boulder at him. Then, he's stunned, we took him out of turret form, hooray, fantastic, our mans can then hopefully crowd in with us and get the boy. Then, we can put the barrier down after that as well, again, fresh barrier hopefully, or very close to, put the barrier down while we're fighting after we've gotten on the Bastion, now we can use the barrier to fight as well, we're on Bastion, we're crowding him, we're making it difficult for him. Now, both of these scenarios are kind of assuming your teammates are going to work with you a little bit, which is debatable. as to whether or not it will happen. We should get this off the screen. But that's, like, the idea. We don't want to just be, like, out there with the barrier up for no reason, because that's not really accomplishing anything. So we used kinetic grasp right there, right as Bastion was moving, so that's unfortunate. Torbjorn has deployed his load all over the payload, which is making life very difficult for them now. Soldier's still here, he's still alive, he's the only one, we're gonna get him. Oh, he's not the only one alive. Okay, it was Lucio. Of course it was Lucio. But we got him. They didn't get that far in, and we've got 3.5 minutes. Just under 3.5 minutes to get it that far. Things are looking pretty good for us, all things considered, as long as our team doesn't just, like, suicide onto a Bastion. The time on the video is, like, just enough where it could kind of go either way still. So, back to Reinhardt again. Fair enough. Okay. Who was that? Roadhog. Unfortunately, you know, we're not playing the kind of hero that can punish Roadhog for that very easily. It was easier to punish the Zarya because she was more out of position and playing a softer hero. Roadhog, not so much. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, we're being, like, so very passive and conservative right now, just, like, crouching behind the payload doing this. Like, we don't... nothing's really shooting at us yet, right? Like, this is, like, not accomplishing anything, but we're not making any space for our team. We're being really passive. If, like, somebody comes around that corner and starts, like, contesting us, you know, we're not in a position to do anything. And we're just, like, not learning anything about the situation out here, because we're, like, looking straight at the payload's ass. And we're just not far enough up to, like, block for our teammates if anything happens, you know? We can be hovering near the front of the payload, and then rotate to the back of the payload if something, like, really bad starts happening to us. But then we're in a more commanding position if we're at the front of the payload or close to it, because we can be blocking for our teammates, and if anybody moves up, we start smacking at them, and we can be, like, firing a fire strike and everything. We don't want to be, like, glued to the back of the payload constantly. That's the sort of, like, what there is what we start doing when things are going badly. We don't do that when things are, like, neutral. When things are neutral, we're trying to take control of the situation, and we can't do that if we're playing passively. So, anyway, there's a Bastion up there. Life's hard. Again, like, our teammates are, like, up there, like, fighting right now. And, like, we're still, like, doing this. We're trying to, like, push up a little bit. Like, either commit to this or don't, because we started putting our shield up right there, even though we're huddled behind the payload, right? We can go up and start fighting. Bastion's dead, right? Like, Bastion died during that. We could have gone up and started, like, Roadhog's hook. Ooh, did you see that right there? Like, Bastion died right there. And then we, like, break off immediately. Bastion only just got revived. Like, he still has to get set up again. We still go out and, like, keep fighting for a little bit. We've got a completely full health shield right now. Like, we can go out and do stuff still while he's getting set up again. We have Fire Strike also. We could have Fire Striked up at the Bastion right there. Come on, there you go. He turns around right there, and, like, people are on him. He might not be full health right now, but he probably isn't full health. So, like, we could Fire Strike up at him right now, and, like, hopefully Genji can actually kill the Bastion if we do that. No guarantee, but we had a Fire Strike, so we could have contributed to some damage to the Bastion right there. So, the cool thing about Route 66, if we can get this fucking Roadhog out of the way, Bastion's dead again. Now we don't have to worry about it. She can't revive him a second time. The cool thing about Route 66 is you can actually jump straight up onto the gas station from the back of the payload. So if there's a Bastion up there, and you're able to push up to, like, the gas station, sometimes you're in a position where you can hop up on the payload, hop up onto the high ground, pin the Bastion. If you can pin the Bastion as Reinhardt, you have done, like, 90% of the work necessary to kill that Bastion. Because as soon as you take the Bastion out of turret form, they're usually not very happy about it. So we've gotten control of the situation. We played, like, pretty passively during a lot of that. We could have been more aggressive, getting up there, like, actually blocking the Bastion more, swinging into people, fire striking. You know, we played really passively. We could have been more aggro during that. You know, it's understandable. There's a Bastion up there. It's very scary. We're afraid to play aggressively, but we could have been. Here comes Blizzard. It's not exactly in a great position, but we didn't move quickly enough. So, charge is good for this, because we... No, I didn't go back far enough to really sing. So, if you can see where if you can see where Mei threw Snowball, and you're playing Reinhardt, you just charge away from Snowball. So we see she threw it right there. Yeah, we're, like, right at the edge. But we could have just, like, turned left, charged towards the doorway, and then we're definitely out of Snowball's area, right? We're out of the Blizzard at that point. Instead, we just, like, start slowly backing up, and we don't actually quite have enough space to back up. It's one of these things where it's, you know, better to be safe than sorry. Please stop doing this. Could just, like, saw it land there, turn left, charge towards the doorway. We're definitely out of Blizzard at that point, and we don't have to worry about it. It's a bad time for us to die, because we've got Earth Shatter right now. We're, like, being really patient here, waiting for our teammates. That's great. Half our team is still out there fighting, so I would have actually rather we were going up a little bit more right now, because it's not untenable. They still win that team fight. Like, 3 of them were still alive. We get back, 4 people are alive. We've got Earth Shatter. It's feasible we win the fight from that position. So I would have rather we were a little less conservative on waiting for our teammates right there. This angle, I'm gonna complain a little bit about, because we could have just done this slightly differently and gone slightly to the right, and we would completely see around this barrier, because from this angle, anybody in that's completely safe, you know, but if we just stand like here, we see around it. Like, we see around it adequately enough that they have to fully move through the shield to dodge it, you know. Right there, it's a fairly restrictive line of sight. It's actually good enough that we still hit a bunch of people anyway, and I'm still gonna complain about something even though we got all the people with it, because that's just how I am. I like to nitpick all the little things that Reinhardts do. This is my boy. I have a lot of things to say about Reinhardt. Right here, we've got Fire Strike built up right now. So we move him, you know, we got all these boys, great, we don't have to charge or anything. Right now, what I want to do is I want to move up, swing, Fire Strike as soon as it makes contact, swing again, pin Roadhog. And that's like the most optimized way to do damage in this situation. In general, when you get the Earth Shatter in, you want to get the Fire Strike through him as well. So you're not always in a position where you can, like, move up, swing, Fire Strike before they get up. So sometimes you just Fire Strike while you're running up to them. But the ideal situation usually goes like Earth Shatter, swing, Fire Strike, swing again, pin tank. The tank will die at that point. And you've killed, like, any squishy people that were down there as well, especially counting any damage that your teammates were adding in. Just running in and swinging into the mess of people feels pretty good, but you can usually do better as well with the abilities. Please stop doing this. This also, that makes it, like, a lot harder to, like, process what's going on while you're respawning, you know? The whole point of watching is to know what's going on as you're coming back to the fight. So if I still like, go in, get swinging, go in. Don't be afraid right now. So many of them are dead. So many of them are dead, and so many of us are alive. Come on, YouTube, you can do it. Like, whole team of ours is still alive. They've lost May, Mercy, and Orisa. Half their team's dead. Our whole team's alive. Get in there. Start swinging. Don't be afraid. There's no need to be blocking right now. We're trying to win this fight. Gotta hop up. Gotta hop. Yeah, you know, I know, it's hard being big. I know. Don't be afraid. So many of us were alive versus so many of them, and we only got pushed a little bit further. We gotta kill these people as fast as we fucking can. Anyway, we won the game though. Hooray, fantastic. Fallout 3 is garbage. Highly recommend H-Bomber guys' videos, very good. Fallout 3 is garbage, by the way. Just so everybody's up to date, and Lisa's very good. Speedrunning is awesome. As you can see, I've watched a lot of H-Bomber guy lately. He's a very good guy, okay? Very good videos. Chris Davies is also very good. And Matt McMuscles is good, but basically for the What Happened series. Chris Davies, H-Bomber guy, very good though, recommend. So we talked about a lot of stuff. The basic moral of the story is like, don't be afraid to be aggressive. That was like the thing that stood out the most. Don't be afraid to, like, assert yourself. Like, go up there and swing at the bad men. If there's a tracer trying to bully you, like, fucking fight the tracer, you know. Don't be like, oh, just like put the shield down, start fighting tracer. Don't let her walk all over you. You gotta try and assert yourself over those bad men. Be assertive. Control space. Beat up the bad men. Don't be passive. Well, sometimes you have to be passive. Be passive until you can be aggressive. Then be aggressive. Don't be afraid. In general, I advise people, especially when learning, just like be as aggressive as you possibly can be, dude. And, you know, you'll fuck it up. You're going to inevitably go too hard. You're going to go too aggressive, and you're going to die, and it's going to feel bad. But here's the thing. As long as you learn something from that encounter, right? You go, like, try and be really fucking aggressive, and you die. As it's going to be when you're doing this a few times, you know, you die, but then you learn something from that. You go, all right, I went really hard right here, and I got clapped immediately. So obviously I went too aggressive. So next time I'm in a similar situation, I'll be slightly less aggressive than I was right there. And you just like press right up against it. And then you go like, all right, that was too much. Pull it back a little bit. All right, was this too much still? That was too much. Pull it back a little bit more. Do it again. All right, still a little bit too much. Pull it back. All right, it worked that time. And then that's how you end up figuring out, like, what the exact limit of your hero is, basically. Like, if you play really passively, you're less likely to make mistakes, obviously. You're in less positions where you can make mistakes. But you're also in less positions where you can, like, take control of the game, you know? You don't take control of the game by playing passively. You take control of the game by playing aggressively. And sometimes you gotta play passive up until the point you can play aggressive. This is a lot of playing Reinhardt. It's just like slowly getting into a position where you can crack the entire enemy team and go in and start splitting heads. You know, you're trying to work towards that at all points in time, but you have to play passively at least during some of it, but you're always still trying to make inroads at the same time. Unless you're defending, you know, fair enough, whatever. You're still trying to, like, push and pull with the enemy team, but, you know, don't just, like, sit with the payload. Like, we'll move up to the front of the payload and try and, like, push the bad men away from the payload. You're trying to, like, give your team as much breathing room as possible, you know? If you're on, like, choke point map, or, like, any hybrid map, 2CP map, don't just, like, sit in the choke point waiting for picks to happen, you know? Try and move through. Try and, like, move from cover to cover and then push in. You know, you're playing passively because you're not just, like, charging in and swinging at people, but you're still trying to take control of the space. You're still playing aggressive while playing passively, because you're making steps to move forward and take control of the area. That's the moral of the story. Be aggressive. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. I start streaming on Twitch Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 p.m. EST till midnight EST. There's a link to the channel in the description. And if you managed to make it all the way through the video and somehow still enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future. And I hope you found the video helpful.